Ivvara Neyar. மற்றும் ஓர் இவ்வாறு நீர் நீச்சல் உங்களுடைய அன்போடு சந்திப்பது ஏஜே ஜெயச்சந்திரா மற்றும்
ஜெயச்சந்திரா.
ஆம்னர்களே, இன்று இவ்வாறு நேராக பரமட்டாவினுடைய பாராளுமன்ற உறுப்பினர் கலாநிதி ஆண்ட்ரூ சால்டன் அவர்கள் கலந்து சிறப்பிக்கின்றார்கள். ஆம்னர்களே, Dr. Andrew Charlton is here for the today's program. Let me welcome on behalf of ATBC. Vanakkam, good evening, Dr. Andrew.
Great to be with you. Thank you for having me on the program.
Thank you. நேர்களே, இடையிடையே நான் தமிழிலும் பேசலாம்னு யோசிக்கிறேன். So on behalf of the ATBC community as well as the Tamil community, let me congratulate to advocate the Tamil Heritage Month in the Parliament. Thank you very much for your kindness and cooperation for the Tamil community, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Although I have to admit, it wasn't entirely my idea. In fact, it was the idea of a friend of mine called Parthy, who gave me the idea. And I thought, what a fantastic opportunity for all of Australia to celebrate Tamil culture, to celebrate the month of January as Tamil Heritage Month. And I said to my friend Michelle Ananda Raja, who is a Tamil member of Parliament in the Labor Party, I said, what do you think of this idea that my friend Parthy gave to me? And she said, I think it's a great idea. So together we launched Tamil Heritage Month. We called for it in December. And I thought it was going to take a long time to catch on. I thought it was going to take years, maybe a slow build. But guess what? This month, the Prime Minister recognized Tamil Heritage Month. Sure. The opposition leader recognized Tamil Heritage Month, and the Minister for Multiculturalism recognized Tamil Heritage Month. So I was very pleased.
I know. We have seen the videos from everybody. Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Let me start with the one question. What lessons or what values that resonate to you to lobby or to advocate Tamil Heritage Month?
Well, I think many of the Tamil values are universal. I think in Tamil Heritage Month, we recognize many of the Tamil contributions to art, philosophy, and language. We honor Tamil works like the Thirukural, which inspire us with its contribution to ethics, governance, human values. And, I think those are values that actually are pretty universal for many Australians. Add to that the Tamil values of hard work, family, community. These are universal things. And that's why I thought this is not just something for Tamil Australians, it's something for all Australians.
All Australians,
That's right. Now, taking these values in mind, how do you think they have influenced your decisions over your broader views into multiculturalism and leadership?
Well, I have great respect for the differences of values across Australian multiculturalism. I think that there are very strong values which are brought to Australia by many of the communities that have come here. And Australia is enriched by those values. And, the Tamil community isn't the only community that has contributed to Australia's values, but they are a community that has delivered a lot.
Sure.
If you look at the values of hard work, of family, of success, of kindness and community spiritedness, those are values that are deeply embedded in the Tamil community. And I think that drives why so many Tamil people are so successful in Australia in business, in every other aspect.
Let me ask one more question. So when you go to Singapore, you could see Tamil words in the Singapore airport, even though they have a very small percentage of Tamils. Is there any way you could advocate even all the New South Wales or any other government agencies must have a Tamil? Because even though we are a lot of migrants from Sri Lanka, India, Mauritius or South Africa, Tamils, but there are some places that the Tamil language has not been, used by the government agencies or something like that. Is there any way you could add on top of that, please?
Yeah, I think the Tamil language is an important language in Australia, spoken by a lot of people. Unfortunately, not by me. And I think it's something that when people come to Australia, when they're welcomed at the airport, I think it's a nice thing for Australia to recognise people in many different languages, including Tamil.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Charlton, you're a successful economist and an entrepreneur. So my question to you is, why Parramatta? Why do you choose to represent Parramatta and the communities here?
Well, I think that the future of Parramatta is the future of Australia.
Yeah.
If I look at Parramatta, I see the future of Australia.
Okay.
That future is aspirational.
Mhm.
That future is exciting. That future is diverse. And those are the things that I see in Parramatta. And so I believe that if we can make Parramatta work, we can make the rest of Australia work. That's what excites me
Okay.
about representing Parramatta.
Sure. Okay. On top of that, what is the long-term vision for Parramatta in your perspective?
Well, I want Parramatta to be the best place to live, work, and raise a family in Australia.
Okay.
And that means getting our housing right. It means creating lots of employment opportunities in Australia.
Sure.
It means getting our healthcare right, our infrastructure, our education, putting all those pieces together so that people recognize Parramatta as the best place to raise their family.
Good
And
point.
they're attracted to come to Parramatta
Sure.
from all over Australia and all
Yeah.
over the world.
Even we lived at we came 20 years, 25 years back from our country. So we targeted Parramatta too. Anyway, we're happy with the MP and member of parliament and everybody, those who are doing the great job for the community. So what are the challenges you are facing right now as a new member of parliament after Julie Owens, as a young entrepreneur and highly qualified doctor, PhD holder, and you can overcome? What are the challenges you are facing right now in Parramatta?
Well, look, I think Parramatta has a lot of challenges going on right now. Certainly one of them is that many people are struggling with the cost of living.
Yeah.
It's impacting almost every family. The cost of housing is impacting almost every family. And, that creates very immediate problems for people who are trying to make ends meet, who are trying to pay their bills. But it also creates a longer term problem. And this is what I think about a lot.
Okay.
If young people look at Australia and don't see Australia as somewhere where they feel like they can be successful, where they can buy a house, where they can raise a family, where they can have financial security, then we've lost something very important in our nation.
Yes.
Because it's only by having young people who believe in that they're willing to work hard, they know that hard work will pay off. And if they don't believe that, why would they work hard? Why would they study hard at school? Why would they try hard in their jobs? So we need to make sure that young Australians feel that they can get ahead in Australia if they work hard and do the right thing. And that's the problem we have right now. The cost of housing is so high. The cost of making ends meet is so challenging that I think a lot of young people are just starting to question that. And we don't want them to question that. We want them to have faith in Australia's future.
So adding on to that, what would be your advice for those young people, especially people within the Tamil community and beyond?
Well, I mean, I think people in the Tamil community who I have met, they have good values in this respect. They work hard.
Yeah.
They go to school every day. Then they go to Tamil school on the weekends.
Yes.
I know.
And I think that spirit of hard work, of aspiration, of getting good degrees, trying to work, educate yourself, that, and then giving back to the community.
Obviously,
I think those things are the values that are still the secret to success in Australia.
Okay. So I think we have seen you in many Tamil school functions, even Pongal Villa and most of the Sydney Murugan Temple, everywhere. Thank you very much for coming, attending all the functions, regardless you have tight schedule. Lovely secretary and everybody contributing to the Tamil community as well. My question for you is, you have seen many Tamil schools in New South Wales, as well as the temples and everything. So what do you expect from this younger generation or Tamil community to shape the Australia or your vision in the longer term?
Well, I think we're already seeing that.
Yeah.
I think it's not just the next generation of Tamil Australians. I think it's the current generation of Tamil Australians. They are already making a big contribution to Australia. Some of the CEOs of Australia's biggest companies are Tamils.
I know.
Some of the Australia's best doctors and lawyers. And people in public service and arts are Tamil. So there are already a huge presence of Tamil Australians right across every sector of our society. And I think for me, the next generation of Tamils, they have an interesting challenge. It's they have a challenge to continue their culture, as well as contributing to the Australian culture more broadly.
Sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
So adding on to that, I think we touched on those issues regarding Parramatta and Australia as a whole. But currently, there's a rising immigration rhetoric happening in Australia. And it's been affecting a lot of communities around Australia, and particularly Parramatta, because we're such a diverse community, right? And so what are your response to those sentiments?
Well, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think that sentiment is anti-immigrant in the sense that it is negative for immigrants in Australia. I don't think anybody is saying that we shouldn't have had immigrants in Australia. I think the question is more about what is the right level of immigration going forward.
That's true.
And that is a legitimate conversation to have. As much as immigrants have delivered so much to Australia, we also have to make sure that immigration is phased and balanced in a way that doesn't put too much pressure on our infrastructure, on our housing, on our other elements of Australian life. So that's a good conversation to have, and I am very happy to have that conversation. What I don't like is when that conversation becomes a conversation that as if like there is some difference between
negativity.
Migrant Australians and Australians who've been here for a bit longer. You got to remember, almost everyone in Australia is a migrant.
Migrants. True.
It's splitting hairs to talk about, one generation versus the generation who came like maybe 50 years earlier. That's nothing in the history of time.
True.
That's what I don't like. But I think a conversation about what level of immigration we need is a fine conversation.
Yeah. I think you might know most of the Tamils is a 4th generation or 5th generation maximum. 1970s, 80s, 85, and a lot of Sri Lankans or Indians migrated to Australia. Now, a lot of community right now, even though census says they're not talking in Tamil at their home, they become Australian, they don't want to take, I'm talking Tamil in home. But the census may be wrong as well. We are advocating to put Tamil. How you could assist for increase this type of, I understand this is depends on the people to, if most of us are talking Tamil and some of the families are talking in English at home, but they take as a English as they become Australian. As a member of parliament, how you could assist or how could overcome this, support for the Tamil community in future? Like, they're targeting census record. So when they want to support anything or financial or anything, they check the census. Census shows, okay, we got only 5% in Australia, comparing the other community. How you could assist in this perspective, or how you could advise the Tamil community or leaders to, follow on this?
I'll do it right now. Dear audience, next time you get the census, make sure that you tick speak Tamil at home.
Yeah.
So that we maximize the funding to the Tamil community through the census.
Okay. I love that. Anyway, we are not only our community, our leaders, most of the Tamils organizations are doing the same lobbying to put the Tamil as a, in talking at home. But thing is, the support or finance or funding is not enough for us to go for it. And one more thing, you would have noticed as you come for the Tamil schools, a lot of Aussie-born Tamils as a 3rd, 4th generation, sat for HSC. And you have given prizes for many, even Jayden also, you have seen that last year. So how do you feel about this younger generation studying Tamil, even or other languages, Hindi or whatever the other, Italian or whatever? How do you see in your perspective? Is it good or how do you?
I think it's important. I think it's an important part of being in a modern Australia. Is that you embrace Australia as a whole, but you don't give up your own heritage. And I think if you do that, you lose something. As a young Australian, I think you need to have both elements of your identity. And I don't think there's a problem in that. I don't think there's a problem in that. In fact, I think it's a good thing to have both of those elements of your identity. My parents adopted my brother. So I was born to my parents but my parents adopted my brother from South Korea.
Mhm.
He came to Australia when he was 2 years old.
Mhm.
And for my parents, even though my parents were Anglo-Saxon, they always felt a big responsibility to make sure that my brother had a connection to his
Okay.
ancestral land.
Yeah.
That meant, my parents traveled to Korea, they learnt about Korea, and they tried to create that as part of his life as well.
Sure.
And, they're not Korean parents in Australia.
Yeah, I know.
But they are trying to do that same thing. And it's the same thing at a Tamil school. You're trying to create that connection so you don't lose that part of your identity, which actually, I think enriches you as a person.
Yeah,
Sure.
because that's the idea of the Australian identity, and like what you said, combining those two elements and embracing them as an Australian. And so, adding on to that, you've noted down these qualities of hard work, virtue as a community, staying together as a community. How do you see Australia as a multicultural nation in like a decade? And how do you see, let's say, how do you see the Tamil diaspora, especially the younger generation, playing a part in making that vision into the future?
Well, I mean, my vision for multiculturalism in Australia, and it's not just my vision, I think it's a vision that I hear from many people in the community, is that we all bring the best of who we are. And I'll say one thing, and that is that what I don't want to see, what I think is not anybody's vision for Australia, is a multiculturalism where we import the grievances of around the world to this country.
Yeah.
And I have great respect for the Tamil community for not doing that.
Yeah.
The Tamil community, many people in the Tamil community have been through a lot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They have, as you all know better than me, they have
sure.
been through a lot.
Yeah.
Many of them have seen unspeakable things in their lives.
Sure.
Friends of mine talk about their experiences before they came to Australia in the most horrific terms.
Yeah.
But so many Tamil Australians that I meet, they do not bring those grievances here.
Sure.
Doesn't mean they forget about them.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they don't care about their home country.
Sure.
But they don't bring it here. They want a harmonious Australian multiculture.
Yes.
And I really respect that.
Yeah.
And I think that every part of the Australian community should reflect on that and make sure that we maintain our harmony by leaving our foreign grievances at the airport.
Yeah, and that this month is a perfect month for that, I say, especially. And thank you again for like advocating for a Tamil Heritage Month, because again, what you said, it's moving past those grievances and embracing an identity here. And so that's a really good point that you brought up. And so, on behalf of the Tamil community, we want to say thanks for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you,
Yeah.
JJ.
I think, Andrew, I'm with you in that perspective. We came 20 years ago, 25 years ago from our country as a better life. And even if we go for a holiday, we want to think, okay, when are we coming back to our home? This is our home. Like, we feel like a shelter, the peaceful mind of home. That's proud to be an Australian. That's what we are telling our children and the schools and everybody in the Tamil school. Okay, this is the way we came from. So this is the thing you are having right now as an Australian. So you must be proud of that. Anyway, another question coming out. Before that, I'll have another short break and back to you.
Sure.
I would say something in Tamil and come back to you. Is that okay? Yeah. ஆம்னர்களே, நீங்கள் உலகத்தின் எந்த மூலையிலும் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை பார்த்து கொண்டு கேட்டுக்கொண்டிருந்தால் நீங்களும் கலந்து சேர்க்கலாம். நீங்கள் செய்வதெல்லாம் ஒன்றே ஒன்று, உங்களுடைய தெரிவுகளை எங்களுக்கு மின்னஞ்சலூடாக அனுப்பி வைக்க வேண்டும். நீங்கள் மின்னஞ்சல் இமெயில் செய்ய வேண்டிய முகவரி atbcsongs@hotmail.com என்பதையும் உங்களுக்கு அறிய தருகின்றோம். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியானது பிரதி திங்கட்கிழமைகள் சிட்னி நேரம் இரவு 9:30 அதாவது every Monday 9:30 p.m. it comes on air as Ivvara Neyar. So let's go back to Dr. Andrew. We have Member of Parliament for Parramatta, Dr. Andrew Charlton is here. I think we are going to ask more questions here. He's happy to answer here. Jaden, what do you want to ask of him? Okay.
I think good. Okay, sorry. So basically, Australia has been implementing numerous multicultural initiatives and immigration policies. Okay, and so in regards to this Tamil Heritage Month, how do you see that fostering social sustainability in Parramatta?
Well, I think the next phase of multiculturalism, and in some ways, we've been doing elements of this for a long time, is not just for each individual community to keep the flame of their culture alive.
Mhm.
It's for each community to recognize, enjoy, celebrate all of the other communities as well.
Yeah.
And so for me, Tamil Heritage Month is one vehicle to do that.
Mhm. Yeah.
For me, it's not just an opportunity for Tamil people to celebrate Tamil culture in Australia. It's an opportunity for the rest of Australia to celebrate Tamil culture. And I don't want that just for Tamil Australians.
Yeah.
I want Australians of many different communities to have the opportunity to share their culture with other Australians, and other Australians have the opportunity to enjoy that culture as well.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about branching out. It's about sharing. And that's why I thought this idea of a Tamil Heritage Month was so important, not just for Tamil people, but for all Australians.
This is not for the Tamil, as well as a lot of migrants are here. It used to be in the government. I'm working for a federal government too. Just want to ask a question, like, those days, some Aboriginal allocation or job, is there some sort of child community work? Some of the banks have Indian Hindi speaking, sometimes head of banking Hindi. So something like that. Is there any way some other area, other languages are taken for the job way? So this will help for regardless of Tamil, any other languages, they have at least 5% or 10% in their job market in state or as well as the federal. Is there any way you could assist or get some survey or something like that to implement this type of strategy in a longer term?
It's a good idea. I mean, I think it's an opportunity actually for many businesses to do, and I think it would be good for those businesses. Not just something which the government mandates, but something which the businesses saw as a positive for them, something that their employees would appreciate, something that their customers would appreciate. So I like it. I think you're onto something.
Okay, that's a good point. It used to be like there are community work, even for the census. Like we were helping for our own language. When you go to the public, they will be more comfortable if you talk their own language. Like even though they know English, some sort of English barrier or the language barriers will be there to articulate or to say something. So this might help us. And also
on that point, I'll just say the Australian government, I think, needs to get a lot better at producing materials in different languages.
Yes.
So many of the key documents, Centrelink, pensions, social security, superannuation, many of these documents are in English, full stop.
The languages too.
And they need to be in other languages.
I know.
And one thing that we talk about a lot in the Labor Party is how we get the government, the bureaucracy, the public service to be more accommodating of other languages.
True.
And we've made quite a lot of progress in that, but we have a lot further to go.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I just want to touch again, when you go to, if you are going through the Singapore airport, you could see the Tamil, as I mentioned. So there are Malay, Chinese and everything, all the languages. The Tamil is there. And you could see the Tamil speaking manager or support staff in the airport.
Right.
So that's the beauty of, is there any way we could implement in a longer term? Like I want to have it like a mission or something like that in your Parramatta area at least.
That's a good idea, particularly in Parramatta. I'm very proud in Parramatta that in Australia, of the 6 suburbs in Australia that have the largest Tamil community, I'm very proud that 4 of those are in Parramatta. Yeah.
Yes.
Wentworthville, Westmead, Pendle Hill, and Toongabbie. They are 4 of the 6 suburbs in Australia with the largest Tamil community. I'm very proud of that. And you're right, because of that, we
Yeah.
should make sure that we have services
Yeah.
in the Tamil language.
So that's why I was thinking, so don't misunderstand me that I bring you back to the studio and asking this type of questions. But the thing is, I'm thinking about the longer term, longer perspective, and I want to thank Labour government as well. All the member of parliaments are supporting, regardless, the politics or anything. That's a good thing from you all guys, supporting for the not only our community as a general, I'm not saying Tamil like any other languages.
Every community.
Every community. That's
Yeah.
a good thing. And you all, even though you have a tight schedule, you come to the program and listen, even if you don't understand Tamil. And I can see that you're sitting for a long time,
Wait.
2-3 hours.
Wait. I have a Tamil staff member
Yeah.
in my office.
Yeah.
And she told me to say the following.
Yeah.
Inia Pongal Navatukal.
Nalvalthikal.
Nalvatikal.
Nandri. Somebody already saying that I'm living in Pendle Hill. Andrew is always supporting Tamil community. Prime Minister from Parramatta, we will be very lucky. I vote for the election. Somebody from Pendle Hill saying that for you.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you
So
very much.
people are people are watching and the Facebook Live is going on.
Well, I love Pendle Hill. It's a wonderful suburb. People there are very nice. I go down to the train station in the morning and say hello to people at Pendle Hill train station. People
Definitely.
are very friendly. They always say hello to me. So anybody listening, if you see me on Pendle Hill train station, please say hello. I always enjoy saying hi to
Definitely.
people in the morning.
Definitely. And also, there are many Pongals in coming in weeks. So
Many Pongals,
yeah.
including Pongal in Parliament. I'm hosting this year Pongal in the Federal Parliament in Canberra, in Parliament House. There will be a Pongal hosted by me with ATCC.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a fantastic event. We've been doing it for many years now. And we get lots of the politicians coming along, lots of people from across the Parliament. It's a great event. And it's wonderful to have Pongal right in the centre of Australia's democracy in Parliament.
Yeah. Do you know the date? Have you decided the date? Or?
We have decided the date.
So the date will be in Canberra Parliament.
The date in Canberra Parliament. Yeah, that's it. It's going to be in February because we're not sitting until February.
February, okay. So
and it is.
So we have Dr. Andrew Charlton, member of Parramatta, is here with us. And what is the date?
10th of February.
10th of February. Okay. Yeah. So we may not be here. We may go on holiday or something. I love to be here anyway. We'll see that. Anyway, one more thing. You have seen Sydney Pendle Hill Pongal also is coming on 19.
Yeah.
Would you be there?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. And
tomorrow morning, I'll be there at 6:45 at the Murugan Temple.
Murugan Temple.
Looking forward to it.
Definitely. A lot of devotees says we can see Andrew in the temple as well every week, some of every other week. I don't know, how do you allocate the time? Thank you very much for, regardless your tight schedule, you are visiting the temple and the community functions. So I'm not repeating again, but thing is, it's coming from the heart, from the Tamils. I'm even though host of the ATBC, but it's come from the heart anyway. Thank you very much. Another question coming for the day, how, the Australian boards has already touched that anyway. So Australian bones child is here they are sitting for Tamils. And when they go for working environment or something, they are struggling for the two cultures, even though they're born in Australia. So parents are forcing learn Tamil and speak Tamil, marry a Tamil girl and all, something like that. So how do you see that?
Do you feel this? Do you feel this pressure from your dad? Is that you've got a live example right here?
Yeah. How do you see that? What are the advice you can give for the younger generation? Because you studied in the Sydney University as economics and you did the PhD in Oxford and everywhere. How do you see that? What advice would you give as a young parliamentarian for this younger generation?
For whether your son should marry a Tamil girl, is that the question?
No,
I think it should be. I think it should be his choice.
I have my whole life ahead.
We're not marrying him off tonight, are we? This is not. We're not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look. I think this is this is something where young Australians have to forge their own way. They have, I hope they have those double identities that we talked about, those two identities.
Yeah.
One identity is their Australianness and the other identity is their heritage.
Heritage.
And they need to tread that fine line in whatever way they choose. If you want to marry a Tamil girl, that's fantastic. If you choose to marry someone else in Australia, I'm sure your father will be very understanding.
I know. Just a question, maybe, what's your perspective? You get involved with the many communities, how do you see that? Anyway, is there anything, we are coming to the end of the program. Is there any message you are going to deliver those who are listening to this program?
Look, I just want to thank everybody in the Tamil community for the contribution you make to Parramatta. And I want to thank you all for the support for Tamil Heritage Month. Honestly, it has been overwhelming.
Yeah.
I have had messages from right across Australia, from right across the world, from Sri Lanka, from India, people getting involved and recognizing Tamil Heritage Month in Australia. I want to thank the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, who immediately jumped on this idea to recognize Tamil Heritage Month. And I want to make it an exciting first Tamil Heritage Month this month.
Yes.
And what that means is I think everybody reaching out to their neighbors, their friends, sharing Tamil culture, and everybody else in Australia celebrating that Tamil culture. And if we do that, then we will have a successful Tamil Heritage Month. This will be the first one, and we will have many, many more in the years ahead.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Dr. Andrew. Anyway, so team, we are going to have some question time for the Andrew as well after this program. If you want to call us 0296883018, you can call. Maybe you can talk some sort of questions we can ask from Dr. Andrew. Let me conclude in Tamil. Is that okay? On behalf of ATBC, I would like to thank you, Dr. Andrew Charlton, for coming all the way from his place, or even though he come from holiday last week, and he just put all the efforts from the other side. When we requested through the secretary, he said yes. On behalf of the ATBC and the Tamil community, let me thank you again for your great success in future, sir.
Thank you very much. Real pleasure to be with you. Thanks to ATBC.
நீங்கள் இதுவரை கேட்டு பார்த்து ரசித்த நிகழ்ச்சி இவ்வாற நேர். ஆம்களே, இவ்வாற நேராக இன்று கலந்து சிறப்பித்திருந்தார் பெரமட்டாவினுடைய மெம்பர் ஆஃப் பார்லிமெண்ட் டாக்டர் ஆண்ட்ரூ சார்ல்டன் அவர்கள். மற்றொரு நிகழ்ச்சியில் உங்கள் அறிவில் சந்திக்கும் வரை இனிய வாழ்த்துக்களும் வணக்கங்கள் கூறி விடை பெற்று செல்லும் நான் உங்கள் என்மின் AJ ஜெயச்சந்திரா மற்றும் ஜெயச்சந்திரா.